If you cross a river, you cannot avoid few splashes. It was ill-timed and ill-informed documentary, totally based on few handful of people who are anti-Modi. We are 1.4 billion Indian settled all over the world in 120 countries, and to upset all those people is not going to be good for Britain. So what Prime Minister Modi is doing, 100 George Soros cannot do. There are a lot of billionaire in India also, probably more richer than George Soros, but they are not as third class as George Soros.
Mr. Rami, the BBC has broadcasted a documentary on PM Modi on an incident which happened 20 years back. So how do you see the BBC's documentaries released at a time when the elections are going to be held next year in India?
That was very unfortunate. It was ill-timed and ill-informed documentary, totally based on few handful of people who are anti-Modi, and they went all the way to get Arunaditi Rai, who has never been pro-India or pro-Modi, pro-government, to get few people like that to have their narrative to show Mr. Modi in a bad light. But I had written a very strong letter. I don't know whether you had the chance to read the letter where I said that you have no right to bring out those documentary. You made it when Prime Minister was vindicated. He was cleared by all the courts, Supreme Courts and everything, and then he won 2 elections, increased majority. That shows the popularity, but unfortunately the success of Mr. Modi, success of India is not palatable to so many people. And BBC, as you know, have always been known to bring news from abroad for the home audience for feel-good factor. But this time we are no longer that India, which we will take it lying down. So there was a very robust reaction to BBC's interference, and I hope they will learn their lesson, because we are trying to have a free trade agreement between the two great countries. The Prime Minister of Indian origin is in the number 10 Downing Street, and the economies are, we are collaborating each other, sorry, not only economically, but also on defense. So therefore, BBC should now, was a respectable organization. It should conduct as such, and it should not throw spanner in the work between the relationship of two great countries, two great democracies. They both are secular, democratic country with a rule of law at the heart of their governance. So we share each other's value. We are much more closer to each other than anyone else. And they must also remember, it was India, twice they sent over 1 million strong soldiers to defend the king and empire. If it wasn't for the contribution of the Indian soldiers, I shudder to think what would have been the world history today. So they should not stir up all this negative feeling between the people of India and Britain. We are 1.4 billion Indian settled all over the world in 120 countries, and to upset all those people is not going to be good for Britain.
The BBC, Mr. Adani. So how do you see this kind of coincidence between the Hindenburg report and the BBC report?
You see, you have to have, as I said to you, when you're rising, you're progressing, you attract animosity, you attract jealousy. So it is accepted that people, country like India or Prime Minister like Modi, who are doing so much, so good, and he's respected the world over, he will be attracting some criticism from somewhere. This accepted. There's a proverb: if you cross a river, you cannot avoid few splashes. So Prime Minister Modi or India, time to time, people will come, find something negative, and just to put India down. But India is a robust democracy. Indian people are very strong. This is not the 20 years ago India. Economically, India is number 5th in the world, soon to be number 4, number 3, and India is not only rising within India, but Indians are also contributing to the global development. All the doctor, accountant, solicitor, engineer, businessman, politician of Indian origin are shaping modern world. So therefore, they should be mindful of the fact that by upsetting a positive force which is contributing good. You just look at the way during COVID, how much contribution India made, how poor countries could afford vaccine thanks to the production in India. So similarly, UK, India, when they have a trade deal, the production of their companies will come to India, and they will be able to make it much cheaper and better and take the advantage of a huge market. And you have to look at a bigger picture. It is not just scoring point on each other. They say the pearl biting your nose to spite your face. No.
After these two incidents, the Hungarian-American businessman, George Soros, has now attacked, and he says, that the Hindenburg report is accurate. So, do you feel that it's kind of lobby, international lobby, which is working against India and PM Modi?
This is expected. When you do well in life, they will always try to become. This is one way of getting attention. This is George Soros, as you know, right from the very beginning, he's an attention seeker. He will do some. If you think you are so clever, so intelligent, why don't you come and fight election and become an elected member of some parliament or government of run your country, Hungary, which is not doing so well. So therefore, to sit in a armchair and make prophecies or make comments is a bit rich, because there's a lot more to it, to making money than to running a diverse country like India with 1.4 billion people, so many religions, so many cultures, so many races, to bring them to a level where they can realize their potential and they can realize their dreams. So what Prime Minister Modi is doing, 100 George Soros cannot do. So that is the fact. There are a lot of billionaire in India also, probably more richer than George Soros, but they are not as third class as George Soros for interfering in a democratically elected country which is well respected throughout the world and making a very positive contribution to the global developing country. India is a beacon for developing country. Indian democracy, stable democracy, is a beacon for developing countries, and Indian leaders are influencing the globe. Yes, therefore, I think it was not called for. The George Soros should just stick to making money and not interfere in a country which has a 6,000-year-old history of culture and of the way civilization. So therefore, I will ask him to shut up.
So my last question to you is, since people like you represent India offshore, so what kind of mood is out there, about the growth of India and the popularity of PM Modi?
100%. Indians are so proud, because you cannot be proud if your mother is not doing so well. So your motherland is doing well, you are doing well, and that's the combination, icing on the cake. So we salute Prime Minister Modi. He is a gift to this great country. He has done so. Proof of the pudding is in eating. Today or yesterday or day before, we bought 500 planes, and so President Biden tweeted that over 1 lakh jobs are secure because of the order from India. That's the power of India today, only because of Mr. Modi's vision. Money does not make money. People make money. It's the vision of Mr. Modi which is driving India's growth, driving India's economy, driving India's respect in the global arena. Therefore, a lot of people will find it unpalatable. They will always find, if you go to a very nice garden, they will always find some rubbish bin and focus on that rubbish bin. So therefore, we should ignore that we know what we are doing. We have a history, we have a civilization. You just have to look at it. Old temple of 2,000 years old. Mind boggles. How did they do it? There were no cranes, there were no cutting equipment. How did they lift? So our time will come. We were ahead then, we will be ahead again. In between, we were not united, we were attacked, we were colonized, and we suffered. But we have learned from those mistakes. We will remain united, and we'll make sure that never ever we are under the power of any other country.